Welcome back to Tabletop Nerdcast. I'm Mike, and I'm going to be your host this evening for our Age of Rebellion Galactic Youth campaign. And just before we begin, I'm going to tell you, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button against the content, and you know what? Ring the little bell icon, because that's going to let you know whenever you got something new coming up and something that we've just published out, because we will be releasing multiple episodes of different content all week long, every week. So, now that we are officially 15 minutes late to the stream,
we're on time.
We're early.
I'm going to tell these guys that the stream starts at 6:45 next week, so that we'll be on time, guys. Don't worry.
That's how it works.
I could tell you a story, but well, that would digress.
Anyway, last time on Galactic Youth.
I got one!
What's happening? You got no eyes!
Things went wrong for our PCs. They went wrong in many of ways. So last time we ended up with our Twi'lek being brought back to a cell. And where we had ended is the cell door had just opened. And as the Twi'lek begins to enter that cell, Aaron?
It's Aaron.
Aaron. Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
You know, you didn't like it when we did it to Kevin Marcus Kevin. Or you didn't care.
What?
He didn't like it.
It's always been Aaron.
I know.
And as the door closes behind you, and you turn around and you look up, you see the Ilthorian that has the shock collar on him, sitting on one bunk. He was on the transport shuttle just a few rows ahead of you, and you saw him when you were being processed in. And then your eyes shift over and you see the Nautilin that you were handcuffed to. The one that freaked out as you entered the facility, and for all you know, may be the reason why you had to go sit in that cell and watch what happened to your mom. And that is where we're going to go ahead and open the scene.
Woohoo! Lousy prisons. Should I roll a discipline check to... I want to be stony about it. About
We'll just get a death stick.
I don't think you have to roll anything for the RP side of this. If you feel that it's necessary to control the narrative, then by all means, I'm not going to stop you from it.
Yeah.
I will say though, if you're trying to remain stoic in this situation, then I'll put it as an average check.
Yeah, I think I want to be stony about, like, I don't want to reveal that, like, any sort of emotional state. Not necessarily stoic, just like, I guess the emotion that I want to convey is frustration at the prison system.
It's fair enough. It's open to RP. I'm going to let you
cool.
guys do this the way you want to do it.
Perfect.
None. Oh, they put you in here too.
Well, that's what they put me.
I don't know.
The Empire is all about silly punishments, and so putting me with you is the only way to go.
Do you think this is silly? It's not silly.
We seem to really like you.
Is his voice thing fixed?
I'll roll at random times to see when that thing kicks in and out.
Sweet. I like
Gotcha.
it. Perfect.
Just wanted to make sure. Because otherwise all I heard was...
No, it may have translated into a different language.
Okay, yeah. So what did you say again? Sorry.
You hear the Ilthorian next to you going...
Well, good. I am fluent in Rodian.
Rodian? I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
Okay, what did you ask?
They seem to really like you.
Like, dislike. The Empire does not like anyone but themselves. Unfortunately, I thought that I was.
I don't even think they like themselves.
Perhaps not.
So I used to have no problem with the Empire. Didn't care for them too much. But now, why are we here? Why are we here?
That was less of a look up and more of a speak up.
Ah.
You're whispering very quietly.
It's trying to be dramatic.
You're dramatically quiet, sir.
Dramatically quiet.
Which means our podcast listeners are dramatically hearing nothing.
And I think
Why are we here? What they do?
for me, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, yeah, that seems like it. But I don't. But why?
Well, you.
They not.
I
they just
remember
started
hearing you
killing
say that you were going to a party. You obviously did not know what was going on.
This is not the party that I had planned on.
You planned on the revolution party?
No.
You wanted to be at the toppling of the statue.
I did not care about. I did not know they were going to topple the statue. I mean, that's.
You were in
Ma'am.
the crowd. I was in the restaurant. We were in two very different places. We will always be in two very different places.
We're in the same place now. I hate to tell you that, buddy. Man, you don't know. Look, we're in the same cell.
For how
They got
long?
funny sense of humor.
They sure do. I think they are running low on supplies.
Yeah. Yeah. When they pulled that statue down, I was like, oh man, it's gonna hit the fan now. I had no idea. I definitely wouldn't have brought my friend.
Just wanted to play with some plants. That's all I wanted to do.
Just hoses at the park.
I can't enjoy the park scenery. Well, it seems we all have
So-
something in common.
Yeah. We got in the wrong place at the wrong time. But we're here. What are we gonna do? What
This is
what
the
is your
Empire.
name? Why don't I'm Morenga.
Thuy.
Dewey.
You may call me Day.
Day? Deo. Deo.
Yes, perhaps it will help you keep your accent up.
Yeah. That is going to be fun.
To clarify for the GM, that's my last name.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
So at some point, this conversation kind of circles and goes on, and you all are kind of comparing, if you want to call it notes, of how you got here and what your individual circumstances were, of what transpired and how you got arrested. You guys are actually somewhat enthralled by the fact that Morenga decided to hide under some rubble and got found by a scanner and tried to talk his way out of it. But at some point, a few hours later, you can kind of hear some footsteps rolling down one of the catwalks that's right outside your cell, and you hear them pause just outside. And you hear a little bit of a scuffle kind of going on, and the door slides open, and a couple of guards are standing there. And then as one of them enters, the second one enters with a little red-haired kid. He's probably about 10, 12 years old. You can tell he's not very old at all. And he's a human. And they push him through the door. You know, they go to remove his binders, and this kid is just flailing all over the place. And he pretty much lunges right back at one of the guards. And when he does so, the second guard reaches over and just smacks him with a stun baton. Very similar to what you guys saw going on to kind of get some crowd control as they were trying to hurl people into those transports. And after just a couple of seconds, maybe one or two licks with this stun baton, this young man, he just kind of falls to the ground and just almost prone. And you see this small pulse of energy as the stun baton's hitting him. And for a split second, you see the guards, almost with a smile on their face, as they keep just kind of tapping him with that stun baton when he's on the ground. And they look up, and one of them looks at all of you and says, you know what? Let that be a lesson to all of you. You want to fight? You want to argue? You want to cause problems? We're not going to stop just when you hit the ground.
You're a mean man.
You want some of this stun baton?
I raise my
Please.
hand.
Merenga.
No. But it doesn't take away the fact you're a mean man.
Merenga, they are affluent at beating children, I would stop.
They beat me for no reason. No reason at all.
You know what? I suggest all of you shut it now.
Hmm.
And with that, they lock the cell after stepping out.
Yeah, you better leave.
The cell door has already slid shut. You hear the shh as it closes. You know, you chime up with, yeah, you better leave. And all of a sudden you hear from the ground, you hear this coughing. And you hear this, it's about time they left.
Well, hello.
You can take a beating, little one.
And he stands up, kind of spits towards the door. You see this. Yeah, well, they're never going to take me down.
They just took you down.
You definitely were down.
I'm Jack. Who are you guys?
Dewey.
A merengue.
You may call me Aaron.
Aaron.
Yes.
But your
Why
name
do I
was
want to call
Day.
you Aaron?
You can call me Day. You can call me Aaron.
But
I
who
like
are
you.
Oh, I see. Okay. Mr. Dayron. I'm just going to call you Dayron.
So he kind of laughs. And
Kind of a nice name. I like it.
he kind of laughs and looks back and goes, so what are you guys in for?
We apparently they think we helped to bring down a big statue of the former emperor.
That was a hell of a party, wasn't it?
oh, I wasn't ready.
Hell is a good word for it.
That was no party at all. That was just people going crazy and they don't know what to do.
So I'm guessing you were there too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was there at Monument Park when that thing came down. It was with my dad. And you know what? It's not too far from where we live around here, so, he thought it would be great to take me there and show me how history was going to go down, but it just didn't seem to, I never really thought that watching history could be so adventurous.
Hmm.
So violent and
And
deadly.
how did your father fare at the end of the party?
Well, tell you what, I was just kind of sitting there, and we were watching as the statue came down, and the cheering went up, and all the fireworks were going on. I mean, you guys said you were there. You saw it all happening. And, I'm like, man, the war's over. This is great. This is awesome. The Emperor's dead. We're taking back Coruscant. And then I saw this officer pushing his way with a squad up towards that statue. And one of his men, I'll never forget this name for as long as I live, called him Commander Caw. A few seconds later, he shot. Well, he didn't shoot, but he ordered his men to start shooting. And everything just kind of went crazy. And I saw my dad in the first few seconds. He fell, and I didn't see him after that.
You know if he's still alive? You don't know.
Well, I don't, but from where he was at, how could he be alive? I'm short. I mean, I got tangled up with the rest of the crowd, but he was right there, right in front of him.
Yeah, but if you
You
didn't
see-
see him, then you don't know.
You seem very
We
high-spirited
don't know.
for a person who thinks he just lost his father.
Everybody make a perception check.
Yep.
Easy.
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 Got him. One success even.
All right, we'll let everybody else kind of...
Success and 2 advantage.
So while this is going on, and why
2 green and a purple.
Saul or Thuy there is...
Do you have rings?
Oh, yes.
Why Thuy is finishing his roll. He kind of chimes back in. He goes, well, tell you what, I may only be 12,
So no ranks. It's just your cunning.
but I'm still pretty sure I can find my way out of this little stink hole here.
One purple.
What do you mean?
Well, I want out of here so I can repay that man for what I think he did to my father in the first place. Besides, if he didn't, then my dad will be at home. It's an easy way to find out which way I can do this. But I'll tell you what, I don't want to die here. I don't want to die here the way the imps want us to die, just sitting and rotting.
Oh, you would not rot.
You think
You
they're
are.
gonna-
You have a very specific racial way about you.
How did you fare on your checks?
3 advantage.
Okay.
I got a success.
Okay.
Success and 2 advantage.
So for those of you, and I'm not going to spend the advantages other than you could hold them for an upgrade, okay, or a boost die actually. For those of you that had a success, you kind of see that as he's standing up and stretching out, he's got this little grin on his face, and he just starts tapping right at his wrist. And as you look, he's sliding what appears to be a metal card up his sleeve.
What do you got there?
So he kind of meets your gaze as he's tapping on there, and he begins to continue to slide it up, and he goes, sometimes it's like taking candy from a baby. These bucket heads are so focused on dishing out a beating, they don't know when you're taking stuff from them.
Come on, I like you. How about you? So you saying that was one of the gods' cards?
Well, I won't necessarily tell you what it is yet, but let's just say it might be our ticket out of here.
You think this cell is bugged?
Probably, most definitely.
Most definitely, you think? We don't know.
So chit chat kind of goes on for a length of time back and forth, and he doesn't want to divulge any additional information about what he's looking at there.
Yeah, after I saw that, I think I would lay on my bed and disassociate from the conversation.
I'm already in trouble with these people, so I'm with you. If you want to leave.
Well, we'll get out of here. I just don't know how yet. We'll have to figure that one out.
You're pretty resourceful.
He is a
What'd you say
child
your
like
name
us.
was?
It's Jack.
Jack.
And you were
Marenga.
Ranga.
Marenga.
Maranga.
Yeah.
Why do I want to dance?
I don't know. I don't know. But I can play some music. I kind of think maybe we'll start a prison band. Jailhouse rock.
That's the way we can distract them. Use your music.
Yes. And
What
your
would,
voice.
what would even music be? What role would that? There's no performance.
So a few, maybe about another hour or two kind of go by, idle chit-chats going on, and you can see this kid. I mean, he was roughed up. You can still see it. He's still got some minor bruises on him. And
Did you enjoy that?
did you enjoy getting a beating?
No. But you seemed like you enjoy it.
Well, I enjoy the fact that I was able to get something out of it and put one over on these guys. That's it.
Did we notice him pulling the card? Is that what our perception checks were? No?
No, you noticed him trying to slide it up his sleeve.
Okay.
Oh.
So, like I said, about an hour and a half later, something like that. Time's kind of a little bit, touchy. You guys are all just sitting in the cell and kind of going back and forth with a little bit of information. And at some point in time, again, the door of the cell opens, and you just hear this as the door slides open. This time, you didn't hear people walking down the catwalk. So, and there's two guards that are dressed in black at this point that aren't wearing the typical, the highly shined boots and shoes, and it's almost more like kind of a rubber-soled kind of shoe and boot that they're wearing. There's no insignias on their uniforms, and they instantly just lock eyes over you.
And me?
At you.
Oh, okay.
The Twi'lek. So Aaron. For the podcast people, because I'm nodding over at Percy.
Yes. Aaron.
So it's two stormtroopers in black?
No, it's just two what looks like guards.
Okay. So that I can
Normal
see their faces.
uniform would be gray.
Right.
Is this
You know.
a social call?
They seem to like you.
I just stare at them.
You're
you
coming
bring
with
us-
us, and one of them pulls out binders and goes and just latches
Hey,
on
man.
your
I
wrist.
just, before they
man.
can kind of be aggressive, I just kind of stand up and put my hands out.
And the
What?
moment you do, go ahead.
You bringing us tea? What?
Oh, you'll get yours in the future. And they turn around and look back
the tea
over.
comes later?
They look back over at you, and one of them is slapping cuffs on, and he just starts to pull you out. And as they start to turn around, Jack lunges. He just jumps right off of his bunk onto the back of another one.
Yeah! Oh, Jack!
What would you guys like to do?
Ah,
I want
Jack,
to
you
kick out to
troublemaker.
stop him.
I'm gonna bum rush him.
huh?
The guards?
The guards.
Yeah, I jump.
Okay, so for this scene only, I'm going to go ahead and give each of you, just do me a vigilance check. And all I want to know about is what your successes are.
My success
Any
is going to
difficulty?
be...
This is just a vigilance check.
Okay.
It's not like a combat.
Just thought I'd throw that at you.
Yeah, I can see that. We're not officially entering a combat unless one of you does something really goofy.
Okay.
Advantage.
Three successes.
2 successes.
All right.
You got 3 successes on 2 green die?
So,
Man!
Dewey, you see Jack getting ready, and he just starts to lunge at one of these troopers or one of these guards as he's, as the guard's turning around, and you're kind of standing there. What are your first thoughts that you do?
Still initially just lunge at. Let's go with Jack so I can grab him before he tries to attack some guards.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll ask you to make a brawl check.
Which one of these beautiful dice?
So you don't have any skill in it,
Yeah.
so you're just using that.
Okay. So the 2 brown.
And it's going to be an average.
What do you mean? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
All right. And as that's
Two-
taking place,
two
what
purple.
would you be
2
doing,
purple and 3
Aaron?
I would like, as far as comms go, what do they have?
You can't tell right now. They just have
Are they wearing
standard.
helmets?
No,
No helmets.
no helmets. They're just dressed in
Do they
a
have
black
like an
uniform.
earpiece?
No,
No earpiece.
They
Okay.
have
none that you
earpiece?
see. And the belt that they're wearing is not a utility belt.
Right. So I don't see any like packs on them or anything like that.
No. You do see a single code cylinder sitting on one side of their chest.
Do I know what the code cylinder means?
No, it's just a standard code cylinder.
Okay.
It'd be like an access key.
Can I hold my action, as it were, like to kind of see how things pan out for a second?
I can let that happen. So we would then shift back over here to Marengo. What would you do when you saw Jack lunge?
I would brace myself for action to see if Jack needs help. I'm going to step in. Okay, if it looks like the guards start beating on him, I'm going to step in. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to kind of hang back if I see an opportunity. I'm not going to take an initiative to attack the guards unless I see one of us is in trouble. Other than that, I'm just hanging out.
All right. All right, so you held your action. What would you like to do?
Kind of wait
Given
to see
that
like
current
what
information?
what happens after he hits.
Yep. I'll allow it.
Yeah. I want to see because he just rolled his dice. I want to see what goes down.
I got, let's see here.
You failed.
Yeah, indeed. Got a fail and no,
So
yeah.
you go to get up.
Just-
You go to get up, and Jack's bunk is like right above yours. You're like trying to reach up and grab him as he's trying to jump off, and you just kind of grasp at air and absolutely nothing. And it's not like you jumped forward or anything. You were just trying to grab at him as he was trying to push himself forward. So from what you see, you just see Thuy kind of reach up like he's trying to put his hands in the way, and you see
Okay.
Marengo over there kind of like, should I move? Should I? Almost like this. It almost looks indecisive, but it's like he's kind of leaned forward a little bit.
All right.
If I see... Okay.
At this point, I think my action is going to be to attempt to make it look like Jack was jumping at me, as if maybe we were arguing before they entered the room. So I'm not going to so much try to tackle Jack as I am going to step between him and the guard and let him hit me. My goal is to make this a deception check. I'll take damage, and I'm fine with that.
You're going to take a setback because you are bound and they are trying to push you out.
Well,
of
I'm only
the,
bound at the hands.
Right, but I also described that they're trying. That
sure.
They're pushing you out of the cell, which means that you would have to be on the opposite side of him.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I will give
That's
you a
fine.
setback to
That's
this.
fine. Average check.
This one is going to be a hard check.
Hard with a setback. Mike doesn't want me to pass.
Call it what you will. You still have points.
Oh, I still passed. Don't you worry. Success with 2 threat left over.
All right. So the 2 threat, I am going to go ahead and make you take as strain,
That's fine.
as you are trying to kind of push your way
Is
around.
our strain reset from the last encounter, or are we still...
This is several hours later, so yes,
Okay.
you would be reset. Sorry, here.
Yeah, so basically...
Describe how you're doing this.
The strain being... and I think with 3 successes, this like, I can say what I'm going to say. But basically, like, I step between the guards, like, almost push them to get between, like, them and Jack, and I act like I'm swinging at him. And whatever damage they would have taken, I want to take that damage, like, as if he was swinging at me. And I scream something like, "Just sit back on your bed." And then, like, as I'm pushing him off me, I whisper, "Don't be a fool," and push him away. And with the 3 successes, I think that works.
Well, I think you can get away with that portion now. I need to see if they hear you.
Should the difficulty be based on my number of successes?
No, it's based on their perception.
But the difficulty.
Oh.
Difficulty's not based on their perception.
No, they're getting a setback because of the fact that this whole thing's going on.
Yeah.
So... Alright. So in this kind of semi-scrum that's starting to take place, the guard that's outside the door, you know, where he would be trying to be the first lead there, he turns around and he looks, and all he sees is you pushing back on the guard, trying to circle back around him. He sees Jack jumping on, you know, where he's just leapt, and Jack doesn't punch. He just kind of like he jumped and he kind of wrapped around you as this was taking, because you kind of shifted your weight as you got around him, around the guard. The second guard, who is right there in the middle of all this, looks back and says, "And what was it you were saying to him? Saying to Jack? Don't be stupid."
Don't be a fool.
Yeah.
Okay, don't be a fool. The guard grabs Jack by the collar and just pushes him and throws him back across. And it's almost like you've not seen somebody that strong. Just push him like a rag doll back across the cell. And he goes, "Yeah, don't be stupid." And he looks back over at you and says, "Try it again. Move around me one more time." And then he pushes you out the door. And the door slides closed behind you as you start hearing him walking down the catwalk.
Jack, my man, what were you doing? What was that all about?
Wrong time, wrong place.
Are you crazy, man? I don't
So
get
Jack
it.
looks at you guys and holds his finger up to his mouth and says, "We'll talk in a second."
I don't know. You did good on the last one. Man, maybe you got something.
So you're being escorted.
Who's being escorted?
Sorry. There we go. Gotta get used to it. I'm in the big chair today. Right?
It's the same size chair.
My butt's a
His
little
chair is
bigger.
definitely bigger than ours.
That's true.
It's because my back. My butt and my back. No.
My spine!
I need 250. No. All right.
Fitting.
You're being brought by a pair
Who's
of
you?
these guards. Aaron.
Thank you.
Aaron is being brought by a pair of guards to a small office.
I'm going to be anal about that.
No,
from
please
now
do.
on.
You're going to need
I'm
to
going
with me,
to.
too.
After a very we got to get the discipline back,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
Admit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can put up with it.
I need to do better too, so I'm just going to be anal about it.
After a long ride on some turbo lifts, you're taken down to a lower office, a small one, as the door slides open at the lower section of this building. The same man who identified himself as Attinis Tremaine, sits behind a rather large desk. It's a white desk in a black room. It's very much a contrast to everything. There's no windows. There's only a small light that sits, and it sits above a central table, not unlike the table you were at during your first conversation.
Okay, this is the Miralakan individual, the one with no eyes.
Yes.
Okay, and is he? Do I know his rank? Like, is he commander, captain?
You don't see it.
He doesn't have any insignia.
He doesn't have any insignias
Okay,
on
cool.
whatsoever.
Do I? So
The guards take you like they did earlier as they separated you and Moringa and hook you to the table where the magnetic locks pull your binders back down into the center of the table. And they turn and walk out as quickly as they entered without saying an additional word. That man, that tall man, Antinous, turns and faces you. His face is cast in heavy shadows. The room is very dark. The only light you can see is emanating off that table in front of you, and off in the distance, you can't really see. You can't see beyond that table. As he gets closer, you can hear him kind of clearing his throat. Right on cue, Rick. Love it. You can leave that one in. And as the light starts to brighten up his face, you can see a thin grin starts to form as he slowly walks towards you. As he gets a few feet away from the table and you start to see more of him, he stops and his face shifts again back to a very serious look. Do you know what this is? Have you ever seen anything like it? As he extends his hand and you see a small, clear, white cracked crystal sitting in it.
my father told me before we came to Coruscant that some of these had been harvested on Ryloth. This is a kyber crystal?
Close, but no. Feel free to take a look as he drops it down into your hand that's still bound.
Is it heavy, cold?
It's very light.
Okay.
It's not cold. It's kind of a milky white.
Okay.
It's not clear see-through. It's almost like you would see a bad or a fake gemstone, where it just looks like it's kind of got that milky white that kind of you would see from a stone itself,
Like a
and not from
semi-precious stone.
not from anything that would be crystal.
This appears almost synthetic.
Go on.
It's not cold like the kybers are described as. And it's got a sort of... I mean, obviously you can't see it, so I know. I understand you're having me describe things for you, but it is
I can
kind
see
of a,
just fine.
it is kind of a... almost like a fog held in a glass.
And he kind of looks down at you almost like, and you're looking at the leather strap across his face.
Mm-hmm.
He goes,
It's only polite.
"Are you sure that's what you see?"
I look back down at it.
Crystal is yellow. It's a very bright yellow, and you can see a very large fissure to the one side now that you've started to rotate and look through it.
This thing has changed.
Interesting. How?
It's, well, the crack is more pronounced.
Is your crack more pronounced?
It's called presenting.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, I couldn't. I just couldn't. It had to happen. All right.
And it's,
Back to Star Wars.
and it's got a...
It's the
Is it
full
more
moon.
transparent now? Like I can see straight through it?
A
Or
little
is it
bit.
still that kind of milky?
A little bit. There's.
Okay.
There's.
It's more transparent, but not totally transparent.
Right. It's not completely see-through.
It is, I can see it better now from side to side, and it is now yellow.
Are you sure it's not just the light playing tricks on you?
I look at the lights. These lights are very, very white. And I look back down at the crystal.
Still bright yellow. After our last meeting, I figured I would try a slightly different approach.
Well, I ran out of parents for you to kill, so it
Well,
makes sense.
Your friend disrupted my work, and I don't take lightly to having my time wasted.
Understandably. Me either. The quicker I can get out of here, the better.
Got a few other things I would like to have you take a look at and tell me what you see.
Please, I've got only time.
And at that point, he takes a seat, and he reaches over to what sits on top of the table. You don't see anything defining, no defining marks on this table whatsoever. And he places his hand down, and he just kind of taps his finger for a second. And as he does so, a little compartment pops up. You see, in my line of work, it pays to collect things. Now, I would like for you to feel free to take a look at each one of these. Tell me what you think, and if you feel anything, and I might even reward you for your honesty. And with that, he pulls out another milky white crystal and slides it across the table.
Like, does it slide to where I can just, like, catch it as it slides?
Yes.
Okay, I set the yellow crystal down. Does it turn back to white when I set it down?
No, it does not.
Okay, I pick up the other crystal.
All right. And as you start to look through that, I want you to prepare me a hard discipline check.
Well,
And
that's not going to be
We're
good.
going to switch over. You guys are kids. Everything's supposed to be terrible.
Damn adults. Man, you're always
And
messing with my stuff.
we find ourselves back over in the detention center, the detention cell. Thuy, you're sitting there. Moringa, you're sitting there. Jack, again, picking himself up, brushing himself back off, and he goes, all right, I think enough time's kind of passed. What's with your friend, man? I was just trying to get to where I could grab some more crap.
He's an
I
odd fellow.
can't grab it if I can't get a hold of him.
They're gonna kill you, man. You're losing your mind. You can't pull that trick all the time.
But-
It's not gonna work every time.
But if they expect it to happen, then they're not going to be checking every time something happens. They're going to be more worried about beating me down than what's going on.
Yeah, until you can't get back up.
And a heads up would be all right.
Well, at least I go out on my own terms.
No, that's your own terms. Isn't your own terms getting us out of here? That's what you said.
How am I supposed to get us out of here if I don't get the things that we need to get out of here? Come on, man. You know what I'm talking about.
We gotta plan better.
Yeah.
We got to get that thing off your neck.
Yes.
could distract
we could find a way.
And the only way you can grab anything is to beat him up.
No. You don't understand. It's not that I got to beat him up. But how am I supposed to pickpocket a bucket head unless I'm in some kind of scrum with them? They're not going to let me just stand next to him and go, hey. That's not going to happen, man.
And what kind of scrum you gonna be when you got a collar like that around you?
It's not fun. Not fun at all.
Well, that's only going to make me shut up.
Yeah, they got other collars. Man, I see them collar. They'll lock you up.
Again, man, do I want to sit here the rest of my life and just rot? No, I got to get something to be like.
Look, I'll distract them. You bump into them. We used to play that gig. We run that scam out down in the colonnade. You know.
I'll give it a try, but man, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to keep doing this.
You just want to hurt them. I don't think this is.
You don't want to hurt the bucketheads?
Yeah, I do. I didn't think I would, but I do. Man, they got me. They got my friend.
Man, they got a lot of our friends. Where is he?
He's just gone. He's just gone.
And it's about that moment you kind of see his face change from kind of even a excited look to almost like that realization of he's starting to kind of connect from he's realizing you lost somebody the same way that he thinks he lost someone, and he's now kind of putting it together that maybe he really did lose, for sure.
I saw my friend go down. Your dad could be alive. You don't know. Man, I don't know.
My mother was the same. Died as well.
I watched the blaster bolt. Almost blew his head off. They were shooting everything.
It sounds like we're all after the same guy. The guy that ordered all this. I mean,
Yeah, but we don't know who ordered. Somebody ordered all this, but the guy that this Kavanaugh or Commander Ka, someone ordered him.
What can we do? We're just kids.
Exactly.
Maybe you think just kidding.
Exactly.
think
And
I'm
at
just a
that
kid.
statement, his grin comes back to his mouth, and he goes, "Exactly. They'll never see us coming." Would you suspect this?
Not once.
And that's where we're going to fade the back out and come back over to AA Ron, sitting within this office, and you now have this
Pick up the second crystal.
second crystal. How do we make out on our roll?
Success and threat.
Success and a threat.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay. I'm actually impressed.
One of my purples was blank, and I didn't roll any failure.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh no!
You over some of this. Thank you.
Why is the screen heating
So
up?
why does this feel a lot more like Call of Cthulhu than anything else, where I don't want to be passive rolls?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
No, I got this. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're all right.
Yeah. You got any Tahiti death powder?
And as
That's
you're,
what you're handling those crystals.
and as you pick up that milky white crystal and you're holding this one, he's busy setting out a few other things that are sitting on the table. Some of them look like bones. Some of them look like gems. Some of them look like just small shards of glass. And it's really just about a split second into you really kind of focusing on this. Your hand feels like it got a little warm, and it kind of pulled your attention away from what he was doing, and you just start a huge focus on this milky white crystal in your hand. Your eyes are open, but in that second, as you start to focus, the lights in the room just start streaking past you. Almost like, for lack of better terms, if this was visually put out there, like jumping into hyperspace. The star lines, the lights just start streaking past where you're at. The reflections of the crystals and the lights and everything that's happening are starting to change in different colors, and the one in your hand is starting to pulse, and you notice it's matching your heartbeat.
I see all of the things in front of me pulsing.
You only see the crystal in your hand
Okay.
pulsing.
Okay.
The lights around you are all changing and
Okay.
shifting.
Okay.
So whether there's a crystal or a gem, everything around you is just fading in and out of different colors, almost like a dream, and things are just, the lights are shooting past you. It's hard to focus on any one given aspect except for this crystal in your hand. And it's pulsing just the same as, it's flashing just the same as your heart rate is. Few seconds into looking at this, the lights kind of shift back and it's foggy, and you see images of you as a child with your parents, a very young child as with your parents. And then quickly it flashes over and changes, and it's different points and throughout your life, different experiences that you've had, different planets that you were on with your parents as you were being brought over to Coruscant to start to work through with the museum. And at the very last one, and it flashes to this moment, and you see this moment, but only for a split second, and then it pushes way past. You don't know what's happening other than You can now see yourself, and you're standing on a cliff looking at a night sky. And as you look down at the crystal, you notice an infant laying on the ground in front of you, wrapped in a swaddling rag. And it's at this point you hear in your mind a very deep voice say, "Good. That is enough for now." And with that tone, you're ripped back through space, and the lights just stream past you until the lights start to focus in the room back again. And across from you sits Tremaine, and on his face now a very visible smile.
Is it a
That
creepy
same
smile,
voice. Oh, it's just a big smile. It's like a little bit of grinning, and you can hear kind of a small laughter and chuckle in his voice. You can tell that there's some excitement in his eyes. What eyes? You can tell that there's some excitement on his face.
On the rag.
Right? My bad.
I don't want excitement on the rag.
we got some discharge on the rag. Yeah. All right. Since we're cutting that one. All right. Now that I totally blew the entire seriousness of that, right back into it. And he looks at you, and after a second goes, "We'll continue this journey tomorrow. I'm sure you'll have some questions."
Is the crystal a particular color?
It's still white.
It's still white. It's just pulsing white.
Correct. It's no, well, not right now.
What was it pulsing?
It's not pulsing anymore. It's
what
just
was it
light.
pulsing?
Just
Just
bright light.
Okay, okay.
But right now, you look back down in it, and it's not pulsing. And
Okay.
you look back over at Tremaine, and he says, "I'm sure you'll have questions, but not for today. You've taken a step into a much larger galaxy than I don't think you ever could have dreamed possible. Now, I believe I promised you a reward."
Is the other crystal still yellow?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what reward I could have earned.
Just hold on to that. I'll make sure the guards don't take it from you.
This one?
And we will
Or both?
pick this back up tomorrow. The other one's
Yeah.
already on the table.
Sure.
With that, he taps another spot on the desk, and the door slides open, and two guards walk back in. And just Tremaine's face just shows he's completely happy with where everything is at this point. And he looks back and says, "Escort him back to his cell. I'll see him again tomorrow."
I'm looking forward to it, Mr. Tremaine.
And at that, we're going to call this a session.
Woohoo.